Good afternoon. Here we have a quiet little motel, tucked away off the main highway, and as you see, perfectly harmless looking, when in fact, it has now become known as the scene of the crime. This motel also has, as an adjunct, an old house, which is, if I may say so, a little more sinister looking, less innocent than the motel itself. And in this house, the most dire, horrible events took place. I think we can go inside because the place is up for sale, although I don't know who's going to buy it now. In that window on the second floor, the single one in front, that's where the woman was first seen. Let's go inside. You see, even in daylight, this place still looks a bit sinister. Now, it was at the top of these stairs that the second murder took place. She came out of the door there and met the victim at the top. Of course, in a flash, there was the knife, and in no time, the victim tumbled and fell with a horrible crash. I think the back broke immediately. It hit the floor. It's difficult to describe the way that the twisting of the well, I won't dwell upon it. Come upstairs. Of course, the victim, or should I say victims, hadn't any conception as to the type of people they would be confronted with in this house, especially the woman. She was the weirdest and the most... Well, let's go into her bedroom. Here's the woman's room, still beautifully preserved. And the imprint of her figure on the bed where she used to lay. I think some of her clothes are still in this wardrobe. This was the son's room, but we won't go in there because his favorite spot was the little parlor behind his office in the motel. Let's go down there. This young man, you had to feel sorry for him. After all, being dominated by an almost maniacal woman was enough to drive anyone to the extreme of, well, let's go in. Well, I suppose you'd call this his hideaway. His hobby, as you see, was taxidermy. Crow here, an owl there. Now, an important scene took place in this room. There was a private supper here. And, oh, by the way, this picture has great significance because, let's go along to cabin number 1. I want to show you something there. All tidied up. bathroom. Well, they've cleaned all this up now. Big difference. You should have seen the blood. The whole place was, well, it's too horrible to describe. Dreadful. And I'll tell you, there's a very important clue was found here. Down there. Well, the murderer, you see, crept in here. Very slowly. Of course, the shower was on. There was no sound. And,
平和を脅かす者は誰か。深夜の街に怪事件突発。一瞬にして恐怖と混乱の巷と化す大東京。
はい、それか。
警視庁、銀行ギャングです。銀行ギャングです。
この旦那はね、銀行ギャングの真犯人だと言って名乗ってんですよ。藤千代さんに会わせてもらえばわかります。
舞台に命を懸ける名家藤千代が胸に秘めたる謎の男は誰か。
このままぼやぼやしていたら春日流の家元は一体どうなるんだ。僕はガス人間と言われる男だ。君のためなら何でもする。
ガス人間の挑戦なるか。全警察の機動力と科学人の勝利なるか。4次元の世界に展開する頭脳と科学の一大攻防戦。
君は藤千代のためを思ってやってんだろうが、結果は反対だ。ますます不幸にしてるんだ。
小松さん、おい、どうした？
藤千代と老人が残っています。
東宝が全世界に誇る最高の特殊撮影技術を使って皆様に送る空想スリラー映画の決定版ガス人間第1号。ガス人間第1号にご期待ください。
The strangest science fiction story ever told about man's deadliest enemy, the human vapor. Never before a power so dangerous. Never before an enemy so indestructible. Nothing on earth could stop him. The human vapor, half beast, half man.
Dr. Sano had said I'd be a Superman. Instead, he had created the human vapor. Now I should be grateful to our doctor, shouldn't I? He did not do as he intended. Yet he did give me supreme power now. I can have anything I choose. Destroy anyone I care to.
No prison bars could keep him in. No door could keep him out. The human vapor slips through every crack, through every opening, to terrify, to destroy, to kill. See the human vapor transform before your eyes from human form to vapor nightmare. The human vapor brings you a haunting legacy of fear, causing panic and riot and devastation. See this weird story of a superhuman power that menaces the world. can kill like an inhuman monster, but who loves like a man. Here for the first time, the most dangerous experiment in terror. See the disintegration of a human being into the deadliest vapor killer. Born of woman, but recreated by an evil science into an ectoplasmic horror to stagger your imagination. The human vapor will come to life and bring you the most terrifying experience in scientific history. The human vapor. Is he man or astroman? The human vapor in living color on the giant screen. The human vapor.
Marianne, you hear the beat of fear within you? Fear that will rise to a shattering crescendo of terror. You have strayed into a world of evil, where frightened people are held in the grip of unearthly horror. Beware of pity for the handsome prisoner in the Castle Meister. Beware of love. For in your heart is only the pulsating throb of terror.
Starring Peter Cushing as the Doctor locked in mortal combat with overwhelming evil. Also starring Frida Jackson as Greta, who served the vampires with insane loyalty.
You needn't be afraid. She's dead.
Martita Hunt, the Baroness, victim of her own son. Beautiful Yvonne Monlore, France's latest sex kitten, as Marianne, whose beauty was her passport to the twilight world of the undead. David Peel as the Baron, blindingly handsome. Yet his kiss transformed the most beautiful girls into monsters.
Such stories as H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds and Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea have challenged mankind. So today, man is successfully probing deep into the mysteries of the universe. Can he penetrate the greatest mystery of all, time itself? Creative magic of George Pal and the fabulous production know-how of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer to catapult you through time into a world that is yet to be.
Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension? You see, we can move in the other three. As the doctor said, up, down, forwards, backwards, sideways. But when it comes to time, we are prisoners.
Inventor Rod Taylor's breakthrough into the realm of the fourth dimension is defied by his friend Alan Young.
If that machine can do what you say it can, Destroy it, George, before it destroys you.
Every moment is a year, hurtling through the atomic wars of the future on an incredible excursion into the unknown. What are the people like? Ah, the shape of things to come. It's lovely Yvette Mimieux. And what happens when boy meets girl thousands of years hence?
How do they wear their hair?
Who?
The women of your time.
Up like that?
Show me.
Is this the human race of the future? Or is this the Morlocks, fiendish creatures who live in a weird underground world? And the Eloi, the tranquil sunshine people, who the Morlocks dominate and maintain like cattle, luring them below with the hypnotic wail of the sirens, to feed upon them in cannibalistic horror.
Science fiction has never imagined so strange or terrifying a story as that of the village of Midwich, England, cut off from life as we know it by some mysterious force. And later, at one and the same time, a child was born to every woman in the village. Children that grew to look like this. Beautiful youngsters behind whose fiery, hypnotic eyes lurked the demon forces of another world.
They're not human. They ought to be destroyed.
Forces put to such sinister use that it became a national emergency.
We are gathered here as advisors, as scientists, as government experts.
Have we established anything about the origins of these children?
There is the possibility of the transmission of energy.
Let me get this straight. You imply that these children may be the result of impulses directed towards us from somewhere in the universe.
What we need is time to investigate.
Are you aware of life on another planet? Why are you so nervous when an aircraft flies above you?
Until recently, we haven't been able to make our control reach as far as a high aircraft.
Oh, now you have, is that it?
Today, their control reaches out into space. Tomorrow, will it girdle the globe?
There's nothing you can do to stop us. Leave us alone.
Take it easy, Dracula. What do you think I'm carrying here, my dirty laundry?
Where a man-eating, talking plant gives homicide something to think about.
I didn't do it.
Do what?
Whatever.
Ever see this man?
Man, see picture.
Why are you so nervous? Oh, boy, you kiss good, Audrey.
Oh, I guess I just have a good kisser.
Now you will do as I say.
Yes, master.
You will go out and find me some food.
Yes, master.
What's the matter? Don't you like me?
Too bony.
Too bony? Nobody ever told me that before.
Beef is better than veal.
Ah, you're such a dodo. What do you call this? Chopped liver?
Not since Dracula stalked the earth
has the world known so terrifying a day or night?
It is I who renounce you. And in the name of Satan, I place a curse upon you.
Black Sunday is like no motion picture you've ever seen. There are those who believe and those who do not. But both must know the suspense, the shock of meeting the living dead and of bringing the dead to life.
Look into my eyes. Embrace me. You will die, but I can bring you pleasures mortals cannot know.
Black Sunday, the most terrifying motion picture you'll ever see. Satan, wearing strange robes and fighting with all the furies of Hades, arouses the countryside to a frenzy of black terror.
Look out! Look out! Look out! Take care. You are being watched. We repeat, take care, for you are now alone with a killer. We warn you, don't let him see the fear in your eyes. For this is what he seeks, and this is why he kills.
Where are you? Where are you?
Look out for Carl Byrne as the Peeping Tom. Fear him, but pity him also.
It's no good.
Watch out for Moira Shearer as the lovely stand-in who innocently dances into danger.
Imagine someone coming towards you who wants to kill you, regardless of consequences.
A madman?
Yes.
Wait!
Anna Massey is the girl who falls victim to the charms of the lonely stranger upstairs.
Switch it off, Mark! Mark, switch it off!
Maxine Audley as the blind woman who senses the danger that threatens her and her daughter, but is helpless.
Don't be frightened.
Not frightened. What? So put that camera away!
There is no future for anyone who tries to befriend him. He invades the privacy of innocent people till the piercing eyes of his camera meet the terrified eyes of his victims. And with a compulsion akin to madness, he shoots the final, fearful scene.
Rampaging in an unsuspecting world. Living creatures from the dawn of time. What havoc will they wreak? What lives will they destroy? What depths of panic and terror will they create? Dinosaurus, the most amazing, astounding, astonishing adventure of them all. Beyond anything your mind can imagine. Never before seen on the screen.
to William Castle, whom the Saturday Evening Post calls the master of movie horror.
Do you believe in ghosts? I do. And you will too. When you come to this theater and see my picture, 13 Ghosts. No more dictation today. When you see 13 ghosts, you'll be given a supernatural viewer like this, which will enable you to penetrate for the first time into the spirit world. It will let you see all 13 of our weird, wonderful, and wildly assorted ghosts.
Now, brace yourself as we take you across the threshold of our haunted mansion, where there's a ghost for everyone in the family. Father, mother, sister, brother. You'll be scared stiff too when you see what they see. 13 ghosts materializing in ectoplasmic color through the magic of Illusiono, the ghost viewer. The ghost of a lion in the basement. The ghost of a murderous cook in the kitchen.
Stop it! Stop it, I say!
The ghost who speaks through the lips of the living.
Death tonight. To one of you.
The evil ghost in the bedroom, fighting to take possession of this beautiful girl. You'll feel all the thrills and chills of seeing one ghost multiplied by the magic number 13.
Only the incomparable genius of Edgar Allan Poe could knit them so closely together. The burning passions of the purest of loves. The deadly passions of the madly prurient.
Madeline, you're leaving this house with me tomorrow.
Only I could.
For hundreds of years, evil thoughts and evil deeds have been committed within these walls. The house itself is evil now.
Here they all are. Ushers.
This is monstrous.
It waits for me, because very soon I shall be dead.
Oh, Madeline, come away with me now.
Where is she? You buried your own sister alive?
I did. But she's dead now.
The master hand of the macabre creates its masterpiece.
Here is a world of dynamic magic as Jonathan Swift's immortal entertainment comes to life in the screen recreation of the book, whose savage commentary on life and society shook the world. While the glorious imagination of its author takes Dr. Gulliver from Lilliput, the land of the little people, to Brobdingnag, the land of the giants. I'm Dr. Lemuel Gulliver. Where am I?
He's alive! He's alive!
Here is a film full of adventure about 3 worlds that no one man ever traveled before. Only the magic of super dynamation could make this incredible world-famous story come to life. A real live cast changes size before your very eyes.
He's stealing our ship! Get in!
As the sorcery of super dynamation transports you into a world of wonders. Whoever thought to meet, face to face, the Lilliputian lovers, Gwendolen and her Elderzal? For the first time in the history of motion pictures, it has been possible to film the story of the little people of Lilliput who were 6 inches small. And the giants of Brobdingnag who were 60 feet tall. Whoever thought to see the love-lorn Elizabeth in the land of the giants?
Where's the bride and groom?
There they are, Snowdrop.
Oh, sure you know what you're doing?
Now, none of your foolish jokes.
With infinite pleasure, we invite you to attend a fairy tale wedding in the land of the giants.
I pronounce you man and wife by the authority vested in me by me.
Glumdalclitch, help us! Help us!
In scenes defying the imagination, we meet the giant child, Glumdalclitch.
Glumdalclitch, here I am!
Whose pigtail becomes a lifeline out of a squirrel's burrow. See Gulliver pitted in mortal combat with a giant alligator. Sail with Gulliver into 1,001 adventures. Real danger, real fun, real people. Only the miracle of super dynamation could make this possible.
This is Whitewood, Massachusetts. A young girl, a stranger, has come to Whitewood to do research. She has come, she thinks, to study.
Leave Whitewood. Leave Whitewood tonight. I beg of you. Leave before it is too late.
In spite of this warning, the girl lingers on. Horror Hotel. The guests are over 300 years old. Human blood keeps them alive forever.
Marlowe.
I'm deadly by the living God!
If you are a murderer, a blackmailer, or a thief, with a face as ugly as sin, and a mind as distorted as the devil's, then this man, he might help you.
You could be beautiful, if you would trust me.
Think twice before you join his circus of horrors. He'll change your face beyond recognition, but your soul he'll enslave for all time. Remember, he alone will know the secrets of your evil past, and never will he let you escape alive. Anton Diffring as Dr. Schüler, who rose to glory in a trail of blood. Erika Remberg as one of the girls whose face and fate he changed. but not her mind.
You can't frighten me. These others, they've been stupid, just plain stupid.
What others?
The late unlamented ones, who have died so suddenly and so strangely.
This is the little girl with the maimed face who was forever beholden to him,
I am beautiful.
who grew from innocent childhood into trusting adolescence.
I would do nothing to hurt you. I owe you so much. I love you so much.
She was his one weakness. This maniac who first healed and then killed.
What just happened was an accident.
Every second is filled with unexpected danger and terror. As a doctor, a specialist in horror, uses his sinister skill to make a circus of criminals perform at his bidding.
Greatest moment of your lives. There it is, directly ahead. A body of land uplifted by volcanic eruption 100 million years ago. The land where monsters live.
Yes, you're heading out of this world. By jet airliner, by hydroplane, by helicopter, into the wildest of all jungles, into the forbidding headwaters of the Amazon. With Michael Rennie, Jill St. John, David Hedison, Claude Rains, Fernando Lamas, and Frosty the Poodle, as they discover a primitive world exactly the way it was at the dawn of time, in the most fantastic of adventure stories.
For me, the story started 3 years ago when Burton White came to me. He told me of how in some Indian village out here in the jungle, he'd met a fever-stricken white man who babbled on about a plateau with monsters and diamonds.
Here is the most amazing of all possible worlds. You'll see man-eating vines that lure their prey, spiders as tall as trees, hair-raising attack by prehistoric monsters, battle of the Titans to the death, the most terrible creatures of destruction that ever walked the earth. You'll flee through grotesque underground mazes from cannibals who demand human sacrifice.
Sacrifice?
The place they undoubtedly planned to kill you.
No, not me, please, no!
You'll be among the first mortals to cross the graveyard of the damned. You'll scale the incredible wall of death. You'll face the terrors of the Cave of Fire, with its lake of molten lava, its fabulous pyramid of diamonds. And you'll be stunned by the horrifying 100-foot fire monster that guards a king's ransom in treasure.
Filmed on a spectacular scale in breathtaking Technicolor, here is the bone-chilling motion picture the critics have called a classic shocker, The Mill of the Stone Willow.
Money, ma mère, tu n'es pas chouette. Visez donc vos chevilles, elles sont pas basses. Elles sont faites pour la danse, olé, ola. Et si je dois prouver...
Why do beautiful young women suddenly turn to stone? Against this eerie background, a twisted mind has plotted a series of sadistic events you wouldn't believe possible until you see them.
It's a corpse.
Handsome Pierre Brice and Europe's fabulous new star, the extravagantly beautiful Sheila Gabel. They say that trouble began with a woman, and you'll see why in the terrifying Mill of the Stone Women. You've never seen anything like the Mill of the Stone Women, for until now, no one has dared tell such a shocking story on the motion picture screen.
Who murdered her? It's the truth, I tell you!
Mill of the Stone Women is the entertainment event of a lifetime. Don't miss the Mill of the Stone Women.
Blood and Roses, the ultimate in adult and unadulterated horror. Bursting onto the screen in the most lavishly beautiful, sensationally shocking picture of modern times. Blood and Roses, starring two alluring continental beauties, introduced by Roger Vadim, the stormy genius who gave you Bridget Bardot. Annette Vadim, filling the screen with the all-pervading scent of chilling fear. Elsa Martinelli, whose exquisite loveliness marked her as the victim of an indescribable horror. Mel Ferrer, haunted by the curse that was centuries old. A girl whose secret is reflected in an image too dreadful for the eye to behold.
I deserve nothing better than you.
Desire drove her to deception. Jealousy drove him to madness.
Will we ever know who we really are? Who are you, Kitty? Who are you?
Starring Paul Massey as Dr. Jekyll and as Mr. Hyde, and Don Adams as his luscious and wanton wife. In an era of glamour and gaiety and licentious pleasures, when men of wealth could obtain almost anything they wanted, the scientist Dr. Jekyll emerged in a schizophrenic counter-personality as the infamous, the cruel Mr. Hyde. Every passion he gratified, every viciousness he indulged.
For God's sake, man, don't kill him. Let me alone, Jekyll. Let me alone.
Jekyll. A fascinating new Dr. Jekyll. A terrifying new Mr. Hyde.
Where is Henry?
Believe me, your husband is here.
Spider Island. 8 beautiful girls and 1 lone man struggling for survival, with death, sudden, violent, and horrible, lurking in the shadows. Horrors of Spider Island. Out of the night came a fate worse than death. A man's mind twisted, his brain poisoned, with an uncontrollable lust to kill. Horrors of Spider Island. A tale of terror that will leave you limp. So hideous and shocking, you won't believe your eyes. His hunger for victims was never satisfied. Prepare to be frightened out of your wits by the Horrors of Spider Island.
You will freeze as you watch a warped scientist become transformed into a godless beast when his bloody scalpel probes the forbidden secrets of a woman's flesh. In Atom Age Vampire, you will flame to the stark ritual of a beautiful girl's last searing dance, as tragedy forever mars her loveliness, leaving her to face a world of terror.
I give you my word that I will restore your face, restore all your beauty.
You will cringe as the demented doctor experiments with a girl's trusting innocence. But to possess the living miracle wrought by his twisted genius, he must forever sacrifice his soul to the cunning gods of evil.
I'll transplant directly from another human being.
A mad creature born of the atomic age, now shackled to a world of rotting bodies and violent death. A sadist, a criminal, a depraved animal, more ferocious than Jekyll, more monstrous than Frankenstein, more bloody than Dracula.
Fire a volley through the window pane.
You will gasp as lust and madness stalk the dark and screaming night in Atom Age Vampire.
When centaurs walked the earth and took the women of their choosing. When men lived in the ribald revelry of paganism. When myth and reality were almost one, then did Goliath descend into the depths of the lost worlds to meet his greatest challenge. Could match the king's cleverness or cruelties. No man could match Goliath's might Goliath's warmth. But when his younger brother falls madly in love, the boy becomes easy prey for the monstrous king, whose greatest pleasure is inventing new ways to murder the unprotected and the innocent, and bait a trap to bring Goliath to him. Deep in the earth's dungeons, Goliath meets the fire-breathing, man-eating, three-headed dog of darkness. Then, with the might of 1,000 men, Goliath brings down the wrath of the heavens on his enemies.
It's a trick. It's another woman.
No, it's Mama.
Get out of here. What? Get out! No!
Terry, listen! Terry! Terry, what's wrong?
On an island of tropical splendor, these three must make their own world, their own new code of morals.
Where are you going?
To Evelyn.
And so, to bed.
We are married, you know, Martin.
Increasing tensions reveal the driving, forceful possessiveness of the gambler.
Please don't.
And the contrasting, sensitive understanding of the lawyer, creating a triangle, dangerous and violent. The last woman on earth, born to bear the brand of two men.
Ask me, though, Martin. I need you to ask me.
All right, Ev, I do want you with me.
So he's leaving, and not just because of what he did to you.
Did to me? Harold, Martin didn't rape me.
That's enough.
Your attention, please. To those who are squeamish or react nervously to shock, we suggest that when you hear this sound, close your eyes and do not look at the screen again until it stops.
But if you can stand shocks, you must see Telltale Heart, starring Lawrence Payne, Adrian Corey, and Dermot Walsh. A superbly acted, strange, compelling story from the book by Edgar Allan Poe. Telltale Heart lays bare the tormented mind of a lonely neurotic whose frustrated love for a beautiful woman leads only to torment and murder.
Mr. Marsh! You know, don't you? You know! You can hear it, can't you? You can hear it! Hear what? The beating of his heart! The beating of his infernal heart!
I can't stop his heart from beating! I can't stop his heart from beating!
Killing was no way to silence his victim's heart. Every rhythmic sound, the ticking of a clock, the dripping of a tap, was transformed into the relentless beating of the Telltale Heart. You'll be gripped and shocked by the dramatic tension and macabre realism of Telltale Heart. This is a must. Don't miss Telltale Heart.
Why'd you set up the break?
Because I can use you.
This machine utilizes X-ray, ultraviolet, and alpha, beta, and omega rays.
This man is a killer.
Oh!
Mad with dreams of fantastic power.
We're conducting experiments requiring fissionable materials.
That's atom bomb stuff. The government has that locked up tighter than Fort Knox.
You'll work for us faithfully or you'll be turned over to the authorities. I understand there's a reward of $5,000 on your head.
No money is safe. No man is safe. Nothing stops the amazing transparent man. Into army-guarded secret government vaults he goes, stealing confidential nuclear material, holding in his unseen hands the key to world power. But the amazing transparent man wants first vengeance.
If I choke you hard enough, you'll bring me back.
The hands whose music thrilled the world. Are they now the hands that love to kill? Are they hands that control the man who owns them? Are they Orlak's hands? Or are they those of another human being grafted on? The hands of a killer?
Just look at these hands. They're not mine. They belong to someone else. They have their own thoughts, their own will. I can't control them.
Darling, I'm not frightened of you.
You may ask, is it possible for such things to happen? We can only answer, fact is stranger than fiction. Here is a motion picture filled with startling mystery. The story of a haunting question that drives a man to the brink of insanity. Starring Mel Ferrer as Orlak, victim of a terrible accident.
You think I killed that cat, don't you? Go on, say it!
Monsieur, please!
What are you afraid of? You think I'm going to kill you?
Co-starring Christopher Lee as Nero the Magician, who discovers the secrets of Orlak's hands and hounds him to the edge of madness.
Did you know that your charming little wife and her wise old guardian were planning to have you certified? They want to put you away.
Danny Carell as Lai Lang, who uses her charms to trap Orlak.
and her beauty to betray him.
Tell me something.
Yes.
What is it you're afraid of?
Lucius Saint-Simon as the wife of Orlac, who loves the man, but fears the hands that would embrace her.
Forgive me, Louise. You're not safe with me.
Uncle Francis, I've been trying to get you. Uncle Francis, he must be stopped. He's out of his mind.
No one will ever love you more than I do.
Can a man step away from his past into a future free from fear? Or must a dead past return, making of every living moment a time tortured, tormented? Tormented, holding you spellbound for the she-ghost of Haunted Island. Their dreams of desire overshadowed by nightmares. Can a dead love's lust destroy a man? Or can a man defy the she-ghost of Haunted Island? It's going to be just as though you never existed. I'm going to marry Meg. But at the wedding rehearsal was one uninvited guest.
I'll never let you marry Meg. You belong to me, Tom. You belong to a ghost. Tom Stewart killed me! Tom Stewart killed me!
The doctor who knows the warning. The French bride who fears the warning. Her lover who reveals the warning.
Go on, take deep breaths and keep talking.
I can't breathe. Take that. I'll try to kill him.
For the first time, a picture lays bare the mind of a man. For the first time, a subconscious obsession becomes a reality.
Stop lying, Colby. Stop lying to yourself. When do you feel you most want to kill her?
After we...
Stop running away. What do you do with the stretcher?
I put it round her neck and
Go on.
Pull it tight.
I couldn't hear.
Pull it tight!
Suspense that is real and daring. A mature drama. Intimate. Penetrating.
What's he like as a husband?
According to you, murder.
Is it different since the accident?
Naturally, it's different.
I mean as a lover. Tell me, Denise, is he rougher?
No.
Flash! Alert all stations! Stand by world! UFO, unidentified flying object, racing in from outer space. But where's it from? Who's inside? A bug-eyed monster or a little green man with two heads? It's even stranger than that, so brace yourself for a shock. It's Jerry Lewis, as you've never seen him before, in a Hal Wallace production of Broadway's sensational comedy hit, visit to a small planet.
Good evening. I wonder if you could help me. Am I anywhere near, Oh, I guess he hasn't learned to read yet.
It's a completely different and delightful Jerry Lewis you'll see as the dizzy young wizard from Planet X-47 with his weird and wonderful tricks.
You really shouldn't be up there, you know. You'll get footprints all over the ceiling.
Upside down or right side up, Jerry always scores a bullseye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Spelding.
Get this thing off me. Get it off.
All right, just a second.
You'll flip your lid, too, when Jerry gets caught in the war between the sexes. Earthman Earl Holliman giving a high-voltage lesson in lovemaking with beautiful Joan Blackman.
So that's how you Earthlings do it. That's very interesting. Well, I'm pretty well squared away on it, except for one teensy-weensy little detail. Which one has the baby?
Creton!
And it's like Crazy Man when Jerry goes beatnik.
Defilers of the dead. Vicious violators of the innocent. The fiendish ghouls. Two of history's most diabolic demons, selling cadavers and corpses to the sinister Dr. Knox for his forbidden experiments.
We heard you like them fresh, sir. This one's as fresh as a new-cut cabbage.
Excellent. I'll give you 7 guineas. 1, 2...
The fiendish ghouls. No one was safe from the bloodlust of these depraved grave robbers, these sadistic murderers.
You killed...
Stop it, Jojo! Stop it, will you?
They're dead! They're both dead! And if you want to find them, go to the Academy of Dr. Knox!
Shock upon shock, terror upon terror, shatter the screen in The Fiendish Ghouls.
I want to give each of you the opportunity to experience the sensation of hypnosis, to cross the dark, mysterious threshold of your own unconscious mind. And now, if you dare, look into the hypnotic eye.
The hypnotic eye. No one was safe against it.
11 women. Attractive, some even beautiful. Each one of them mutilated herself in some crazy way. They can't all be accidents.
your body growing stiff and rigid, your flesh is turning to stone. You are turning to stone.
The hypnotic eye. Terror loose in the city streets, reaching from the plush nightclubs to the beat joint's bongo beat. A strange animal magnetism that drives women to do things hidden deep within their subconscious, and bringing violence and mutilation and death to the innocent.
What is more pleasant than a cool, refreshing shower? Get into the shower, Marshal. Get into the cool, cool shower.
The terrible power of hypnosis used for satanic evil. A spell impossible to resist, ending in unspeakable torture.
Out from forgotten centuries, and a horror legend 2,000 years old comes alive as a hideous demon rises from the grave to bring a new high in horror to the motion picture screen. The Vampire and the Ballerina. No one is safe from this monster of the night, this creature from the crypt of the living dead, who stalks the countryside in search of victims for his insatiable bloodlust. The Vampire and the Ballerina. Into the evil domain of the Vampire King comes a company of beautiful dancers. And the most desirable of them all is the ballerina. Helpless in the grip of his satanic power that brings everlasting enslavement to her soul. The screen has never reached such heights of fright, such soul-shivering suspense, such heart-stopping horror. You will remember for always the startling, haunting motion picture, The Vampire and the Ballerina.
大きな不幸？どうしてです？
モンスラが来るのです。
モスラ発見。
いいですか？小美人を島に返さない限りモスラはやってくるんですよ。
この日本へ、この東京へ。そうなってからじゃもう遅いんですよ。
日本の善ちゃん食いついたら離れっこないよ。
だってモスラに食いつけって言うんですか？
何？
善ちゃん、モスラが横田基地に現れたのよ。
横田？
幽玄のメロディーに乗って登場する謎の小美人たち。あでやかに繰り広げられる舞台から人類の恐怖モスラを呼ぶ。卵から生まれ地を這い前を破って空を飛び3段階に成長する不死身の大怪獣モスラ。構想3年制作費2億、未曾有のスケールで東宝が放つスペクタクル巨編。
Is Mothra? What is Mothra? Why does all the world fear Mothra? They found him on an island in the remote Pacific, a monster cave creature discovered by a group of the world's leading scientists, worshipped as a god by the tiniest, loveliest women in all creation, sacred beauties of a lost tribe. See how he stands unscathed by tanks, artillery, dive bombers, rockets, all powerless against his devastating death ray. See how he eludes capture in his impenetrable cocoon, which no human force can open. See him unleash, with a single tremendous breath, the Earth's most fearsome hurricanes, wrecking trains and ships, uprooting bridges and buildings, wreaking havoc on land and sea, thrilling you, chilling you, holding you spellbound. What is the secret of Mothra? Insatiable, indestructible, indescribable. The screen's most fantastic dramatic spectacle, Mothra.
Remote Pacific Island, where an expedition of world-famous scientists investigate incredible rumors of its fantastic mysteries and discover barren volcanic mountains surrounding strange green valleys. Mammoth caves that breed giant mutations. Vampire plants that devour humans. But most astounding of all, the tiniest women in all creation. Sacred beauties of a lost tribe which worships a monstrous creature. What is the secret of Mothra? What is the bizarre spell that awakens Mothra? As these doll-sized girls call to the super god from captivity. Mothra, whose revenge is more devastating than any man-made weapon. Mothra, who defies warplanes. Wrecks ocean liners. Smashes dams and bridges. Mothra, creating hurricanes. Mothra, enveloped in a shell that no human force can penetrate. Mothra, indestructible, all-powerful, indescribable. What kind of creature is this god monster, Mothra?
Never been a ghost story created especially for the adult moviegoer until The Innocents.
Do they ever return to possess the living?
20th Century Fox, which presented Deborah Carr in Heaven Knows Mr. Allison, and such outstanding motion picture immortals as Snake Pit, Gentleman's Agreement, and Peyton Place, now gives you The Innocents. Based on the Henry James chiller of macabre evil. Brilliantly adapted for the screen by William Archibald and Truman Capote.
Do they ever return to possess the living?
You can see. You must. I hate you.
The Innocents, produced and directed by Jack Clayton, the man who directed Room at the Top, turned into fearful reality by the magnificent performance of Miss Deborah Carr, with Michael Redgrave as the uncle, co-starring Peter Wingard, Meggs Jenkins.
I saw him staring. Who, miss? The same man, the man on the tower. The tower? But now, just now, he was staring past me into the house as if he were hunting someone.
What's he like, miss?
Oh, he had dark, curling hair and the hardest, the coldest eyes.
Is he... Would you say he was very handsome?
Oh, yes, yes, handsome, handsome and obscene.
Do they ever return to possess the living?
And when did you first see and hear of such things?
Why, I made them up.
Shall I tell you who taught them to you?
I won't ever again, I promise.
Shall I tell you who taught you? The things you've done, the things you've said? Shall I tell you his name?
Perhaps the most controversial concept in human relationships ever presented on the screen, with one of the world's great stars, from the man who directed Room at the Top, a new and adult motion picture experience.
Do they ever return to possess the living?
The curse of the werewolf that was laid on a baby who grew into a man possessed by a monster. To this Spanish town, the night brought drinking and dancing, music and girls, and the moon. The full moon that turned an innocent man into a savage beast. The curse of the werewolf, a man possessed by a desperate need for love, who found in Christina all the passionate sincerity of youth.
Christina, do you love me? Will you marry me, Christina?
You say you love me, will you marry me?
Yes. Yes, I will.
Help me! Get away! Get away! Get away! No!
Whatever you have imagined in your wildest dreams now becomes a visual reality. As Jules Verne's most fantastic adventure in space and time becomes an amazing film experience.
Don't let me fall! Lighten the basket, we gotta gain height!
Jules Verne, the man whose great stories inspired such unusual films as Around the World in 80 Days, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Journey to the Center of the Earth, surpasses them all with Mysterious Island. Starring Michael Craig, who triggers the screen's most thrilling escape, Gary Merrill as a war correspondent, Joan Greenwood, shipwrecked on the mysterious island. And in this story of survival, Michael Callan and Beth Rogan.
Come on.
What's it doing?
I don't know.
It's sealing us in.
Also starring Herbert Lom as the mysterious Captain Nemo and his fabulous submarine, the Nautilus.
Aren't we able to do anything to save ourselves?
There's nothing that can be done.
Super Dynamation, newest and greatest screen process, astonishes the eye with such scenes as the fight to the death with a prehistoric devilfish, the discovery and destruction of an underwater city, Mysterious Island, photograph on land, under the sea, and in the air. Truly a first in motion pictures.
No motion picture of our time has ever unleashed sharp spectacle of such scope and realism as up from the depths of prehistoric mystery rages Virgo. The headlines of the world blaze the fabulous story of this monster from another age, catapulted from some vast sub-ocean cavern by unprecedented volcanic action. And the headlines scream the story of the reckless skin divers who captured the monster and put it on exhibition.
Sam! Pull out! Drop the nets! What do you think you're doing? Hey, take it easy.
I came to let him go back to the sea where he belongs.
Why?
Maybe to save our silly skins for you.
Hurry, hurry, hurry to see Gogo.
But the headlines do not record the story of a little boy who had a curious sympathy and understanding for the fantastic creature. What strange secret does he know that scientists only suspect?
You trying to say there may be a fully grown one of these things around somewhere? How big would a full-grown one be?
An approximate guess. The infant. The adult.
That would make it nearly 200 feet tall.
Wreaking terrible vengeance against the civilization that has captured its offspring. Towering over the cities of the world as millions flee its awesome terror.
Repent! Repent while you still can! Repent!
Nothing can stop it. Defying the force of the Army. The might of the Navy.
Fire number 1, Terry. Ready to open fire, sir. Fire 1.
Even the fury of the jets. In a crashing crescendo of sights never before beheld by human eyes, and adventures never before experienced by any man or woman.
my father's world, Mr. Barnett. The shrieking of mutilated victims became the music of his life. The blood of 1,000 men and women was spilled within these walls. Limbs twisted and broken, flesh burned black.
Starring Vincent Price, truly a master of the macabre. John Carr in a challenging role. Barbara Steele, more blood-chilling than in Black Sunday. And introducing taunting Luana Anders.
Nicholas.
Elizabeth? Is that you? Elizabeth? While we were up here mourning her, she was alive. Struggling to be free.
You are lying, sir. When Maria screamed, where were you? You lie!
I'm going to torture you, Isabella. I'm going to make you suffer for your faithlessness to me.
You harlot!
All the violence of angry seas. The unseen forces of the unknown. The unforgettable memories of a long-forgotten childhood. All these you will feel in your very blood.
Do you know where you are, Bartholomew? You are about to enter hell.
It's a piece of skin, like leather.
From all corners of the earth, they gather to study the mystifying frozen fossil, a reptilian tale that grows into a giant of terror.
It's alive! It's loose! You have been invited here to see for yourselves one of the most amazing events in the annals of scientific history.
Reptilicus, a monstrous, massive beast whose astounding appearance causes panic.
Reptilicus approaching the city. Repeat, Reptilicus approaching the city.
This is Grayson. All units. Fire at will. Reptilicus, an annihilating mastodon, immune to all known weapons of warfare, creating chaos such as mankind has never before known.
There's a huge monster gorilla that's constantly growing to outlandish proportions loose in the streets.
Conga, born of a scientist's dreams, bred on a madman's nightmares, brought out of the jungle and turned into a wild beast beyond man's understanding.
I am your master, and you must obey me. Now you no longer have any fears.
Starring Michael Goff as Dr. Decker, who stole the jungle's secrets of sorcery to distill Satan's black magic in his own laboratory. Margot Johns as the girl who becomes an accessory to murder. with Claire Gordon as the young student. Trapped with a madman in a nightmare world of fear, jealousy, and passion.
Let me go!
Sandra, you know I love you! The jungle scene of color, excitement, and spectacle is thrillingly mixed with the close mystery of strange insectivorous and carnivorous plants. See them, fear them, and feel the anger and the anguish of Jess Conrad in a picture charged with powerful emotion. Conga, the most fantastic beast of all time. Not since King Kong has a screen exploded with such mighty fury and spectacle. In the new process of spectramation and Eastman color, he grows in size and terror before your eyes. In a film that fills the screen with giant entertainment.
I am your master. I have transformed you into a giant of great strength, and you must obey me.
This innocent-looking greenhouse is the secret workshop of Dr. Decker. These unusual foliages are insectivorous and carnivorous, man-devouring plants, and contain a rare chemical of growth of as yet unknown powers. Conga, towering, terrorizing threat to civilization. Conga, ever-growing man-made beast of immeasurable strength.
Let me go! Please, let me go!
I said let me down! Help! Help!
Fantastic. There's a huge monster gorilla that's constantly growing to outlandish proportions, loose in the streets.
In the middle of our vast ocean is Atlantis, our mighty empire.
The mystery of a mother empire which stretched her civilization to both sides of the Atlantic has been the fascinating subject of thousands of books and millions of words of controversy by science, literature, and even today's headlines. Suddenly, you are living thousands of years ago in a civilization even more advanced scientifically than our own.
We created wonders for the good of mankind, then turned them into monsters.
Atlantis is the story of those who, like today, would use the marvels of science to conquer and enslave. Atlantis is also a fabulous adventure into the unknown, the story of a daring youth who risked the terror of uncharted seas for a beautiful girl.
Listen to my lips, Demetrius. They too whisper.
For even in those days, love wasn't too different than it is today. This, then, was Atlantis, a land of violent contrasts, amusing themselves at the expense of human agony, the terrible ordeals of fire and water. Atlantis, a world that worshipped strange gods of science, a science gone berserk in the dread house of fear.
You will be a bull. Every day in every way, you will become more and more like one.
A diabolical laboratory where humans were transformed into half men, half beasts. Atlantis, a land that harnessed the power of a volcano's fiery heart and learned to store the energy of the sun in giant crystals, then used them to create secret weapons whose disintegrating rays could destroy the rest of the world. Atlantis, a civilization that advanced too far until nature turned in cataclysmic revolt against an evil land, in eye-staggering action that for bigness and excitement has never been equaled.
I have searched for a unique way whereby a motion picture audience can actually decide the climax of a picture. I have found such a way. My latest picture, Mr. Sardonicus, offers something no audience has ever had before: the power to determine the fate of a character on the screen, the power to punish. In ancient Rome, spectators could decree life or death to a gladiator by indicating thumbs up or thumbs down. During the French Revolution, the mobs could condemn a man by merely shouting, "To the guillotine." In the early West, vigilantes took the law into their own hands. Today, for the first time, the awful power to punish will be yours. After you see the evil events that made Mr. Sardonicus what he was, you will decide what should be done to him. You will now see some scenes from the picture. The face of Mr. Sardonicus will not be shown because I realize that some people in this audience might be adversely affected by it. Those of you who come to see Mr. Sardonicus will understand why.
Mr. Sardonicus. What makes his name strike terror?
Sardonicus?
Why were you frightened?
Sir, you would not understand. You are young. You do not yet have daughters.
Why does his wife live in abject fear?
If you do not heal him, he will punish me.
Sure he wouldn't beat you.
His cleverness knows a more hideous torture.
What strange attraction did young women have for him? What secrets are hidden behind his doors? Mr. Sardonicus. His deeds formed a fabric of nightmares. His face, the face of Sardonicus, can be described only in the eyes of its beholders.
Mr. Sardonicus, in spite of all his cruelties, some people will think he deserves mercy. Others will feel that no punishment could be too severe. When you come to see Mr. Sardonicus, you will receive a ballad like this. At a certain point in the picture, you will vote thumbs up or thumbs down. His punishment will depend on the result of your vote.
The time is now 10:51. 9 minutes before countdown. 9 minutes.
9 minutes before countdown. 9 minutes while the world waits and wonders. Share, if you dare, the unbearable suspense of men and women who have never in their lives faced greater peril. The day the Earth caught fire will burn itself into your memory. Is it fiction or is it fact?
What's the nutation of the Earth?
Nutation? Well, it's a slight oscillation on the Earth's axis, caused by the pull of the sun and the moon on the equator. You see, there's a slight bulge on the...
There's also an item here about axis rotation. There's been an 11-degree variation, whatever that may mean.
They've shifted the tilt of the Earth. The stupid, crazy, irresponsible bunglers. They've finally done it.
From the presses of Fleet Street, today's headlines blaze into tomorrow's history. And here are the people who report the most sensational story a newspaper has ever had to print. A story that might be the last it ever prints. These are the people caught in the most explosive threat ever to face the world. Jeannie, the girl on the government switchboard. And Stenning, one-time ace reporter, striving to make a comeback in life and love.
You happened to walk in at the end of a Black Monday.
Well, what about a foggy Sunday?
Oh, come on now, Pete. We're too old for
I'm not
snuffling.
too old.
Look, I said you could use the phone, and
come
that's
on now,
all.
Jeannie. What do you want? A slow build-up? Hot hands at the movies? Knee trebles and a coffee bar?
This is Maguire, the science editor who unearthed the deadly facts.
What the hell kind of fog only comes up to the 4th floor?
God knows better than to come up here. This place is like the anteroom to hell.
It's really chaos at London Airport, Mr. Maguire.
It usually is.
Question is, how do we get home tonight?
Yes, I know. Isn't it wonderful?
The countdown must have started by now.
Drink up, then. Here's how.
22. 21.
To the luck of the human race.
The day the Earth caught fire fearlessly tackles a ferocious subject. It will seize your imagination, stretch your nerves with suspense more compelling than any you have known in a cinema before.
4. 3. 2. 1.
Come with me on a voyage to the bottom of the sea.
You are there when the entire sky catches on fire, the burning Van Allen belt threatening to destroy the universe. You are there in a deadly rain of disintegrating icebergs. Not even the soaring imagination of a Jules Verne could have dreamed of such a fantastic adventure in an atom-powered submarine that defies description.
You've seen the brain of the sub. In here is the heart, the atomic motor room. There is more destructive force in this room than in all the explosive used in World War II.
With a cast as exciting as the wonders they encountered. Walter Pidgeon.
We hope to see sights never before seen by man.
Joan Fontaine.
I say, the belt will burn itself out. At 173 degrees, it will burn itself out.
Barbara Eden. Peter Lorre.
Sounds like Suko. Nothing is impossible.
Robert Sterling.
If I'm to meet your deadline of the Marianas, I need fighters, not fatalists.
Michael Ansara. And Frankie Avalon.
Due respect, sir, I think your judgment's been a little rocky lately.
Why, you gold-bricking pipsqueak.
You are there when the United Nations is thrown into a turmoil.
The burning belt must be exploded clear of the Earth's magnetic field. And we have exactly 16 days and 3 hours in which to do it.
Explode the belt and you explode the world.
You are there when the frogmen battle a mammoth squid. You are there when Barbara Eden dances to Frankie Avalon's hot rhythms. You are there in outer space to see the Earth encircled in fire. You are there when the mini-sub threads a life and death course through the minefields. You are there when the giant of the sea attacks. You are there in the most startling underwater pursuit ever filmed.
How much Jack do you think's in that strong box?
There's plenty of Cuban sugar, though.
Here's what happened. The general beat his friend Castro to the Cuban treasury. The strongbox is now on this boat. So are a deported American gangster and his moll. And lurking in the depths is the creature from the haunted sea.
You're a crazy mixed-up kid.
I am perfectly adjusted to my life of crime.
Don't worry, Mary Bell. I'll save you. It's all right. Be calm, everybody. The boat's insured.
Beware. The creature from the haunted sea.
For the first time in screen history, a special interval will be provided during the running of this picture for refunding your admission. If you're unable to stand the almost unbearable suspense, the almost paralyzing shock of homicidal.
If homicide is your hobby, may I recommend a surgical knife for a nice, clean, quiet murder? I'm William Castle, and this wheelchair is just to rest my tired nerves after producing a picture like this one. We are so sure you will find it such a shocking and startling experience that we are offering a money-back guarantee when you come to see Homicidal. At the height of the suspense, there will be a fright break, an interval during which you can quiet your nerves. If you are too frightened to see the end of the picture, your full admission price will be refunded. Time to go downstairs now. Got a date to carve a corpse.
In this secret laboratory deep down in the bowels of the earth, this man carries out his fiendish research. Dr. Blood, murderer, who experiments with the hearts of his victims. Dr. Blood, the evil genius who robs the graves of their dead in the name of science.
I'd like you to analyze whatever's in that needle, Doctor. It could tell us what happened to George Beale. Looks as though he's been kidnapped. Of course, that could explain the other disappearances.
What on earth is this?
It's a container for a narrow poison made by the natives of South America.
Curare.
Starring Karen Moore as Dr. Blood, who searches for the secret of reincarnation.
You can't let a man die so that you can discover something. It doesn't matter how important it is. That is murder.
Well, everywhere men are dying. Great men, philosophers, artists, scientists. But if they could live on, look how they could contribute to the advancement of man. Clerget is going to help me prove that I can give life where there was death.
Hazel Court as Linda, who watches a man become a monster before her frightened eyes.
I think we ought to go back.
No, you're going to stay here locked away with me forever.
Oh, Peter, you scare me.
I'm serious. You must remain within these dank walls for all eternity.
Ian Hunter is the father who unknowingly helps to destroy his own son.
Did you find out what was in that needle?
Strychnos toxifera. Commonly called curare.
Dr. Blood's Coffin, the gripping drama of a man who calls on the power of the devil to satisfy his insatiable lust for the secrets of life and death.
Yes. I've done it. But I wanted to create something worthwhile.
You haven't brought Steve Parker back to life. This is something from hell.
Ship of the future, 350,000 miles up. Explore limitless space with the world's greatest astronauts.
Pegasus 4 to Lunar Base 1. We're entering a heavy magnetic field.
Take part in the terrifying search for the Phantom Planet. Battle an army of deadly meteors. See daredevil men repair their ship on the edge of eternity. Vital feed lines hit. Air cut off.
My ship is being drawn toward an asteroid. Instruments completely out of operation. I'm going to try to land. I don't think I'll make it.
See the first man land on the Phantom Planet. See a 6-foot man shrink to 6 inches before your very eyes. Introducing Dolores Faith as Zetha, the girl from outer space, whose beauty secrets are wrested from the cosmic rays of the Milky Way. Discover the atomic mysteries of the universe.
Those are gravity plates that we've had placed here. Their intensity is so high that any object or any person placed on any one of them would immediately disintegrate. Here, let me show you.
Men on the Phantom Planet risk instant death for their women. The appalling warfare of other worlds. Sun-blazing Solarites attack.
The greatest danger to us is the high-intensity heat bomb.
Right. They have enough concentrated heat to blow up our planet instantly.
See the Solarite monster break loose. Thrill to the awe-inspiring battle for survival.
Activate the gravity curtain.
The fantastic power of the weapons of outer space. Cosmic rays destroying the Solarites.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing wrong with the projection. But you can't share the shock until you have the miracle movie mask. At showings of this motion picture, each patron will receive his own miracle movie mask. Then, but let's watch the scene again. Then you will lift your mask as he lifts his, and you will look through it with him into the weirdest nightmare world that man has ever dreamed, or the screen has ever dared show. The new realm of horror that can only be seen through The Mask. Here to tell you more is the supreme authority on all things weird, initiate of the strange and mysterious, the world's greatest connoisseur and collector of masks, Mr. Jim Moran.
I have seen wonders. I've traveled to the remotest corners of the globe, to dead cities, through savage jungles, to the inner sanctums of esoteric cults, the temples of exotic rituals, to tombs and caverns and palaces. The result? The most comprehensive collection of masks in the world. Some are works of art, some are astounding and horrifying, but nowhere in all my travels have I found a mask so absolutely remarkable as this mask, the Miracle Movie Fright Mask, the mask that you will be invited to put on when you see the motion picture called The Mask. This is the mask that will open your eyes to such things as man has never dared imagine. The mask that will make you part of the sensations of the most staggering experience of your life. But be warned, the things that you will see when you put on this mask will surely take you to the very limits of your nerves and to the very boundary line of sanity.
Take a good look at this face. Caught by the camera at the split-second peak of screaming terror. It is the only face we are permitted to show you in this story of a girl encircled by evil, enveloped in a living nightmare. A girl driven by terror to near insanity.
Shocks, such as the one that you had last night, can deal the mind a very serious blow. A blow which could affect it permanently.
You mean I could go mad?
I shall return to your world within 300 years. When that comet completes its cycle and is once again in these latitudes.
300 years later, the Count returns to Earth in the Brainiac. See horrible and insane killings as the Count turns into a monster and seeks his revenge. See the Count feast from human brains. Don't miss the most horror-filled film of the century, The Brainiac.
Four young adventurers, fascinated by ghastly tales of the fantastic, hunt for and find the unbelievable.
I, who had never killed anything in my life, found myself assigned to duty as a sniper. And what had been an unpleasant duty developed into a passion, and then into a lust for blood.
A killer with a crossbow, reveling in brutal torture, driving those close to him insane with terror.
We won't fail. We can't fail.
In a world that challenges the imagination of man, the living are always with the dead.
But you can't mean that you're going to hunt Johnny and Pete like you did those others? As if they're animals?
Animals? No, not like animals. I'm going to hunt them as men. Men of brains and cunning. And since the unfortunate incident involving my wife has left me without feminine company, I look forward to getting to know you both better. Much better.
Who are you? Can a dream change a man's whole life? Linda Christian is almost too desirable to be real. And Robert Alda, too fascinated to resist her. You really are a witch.
You must become one of us first.
Anything.
You must take the oath to Gamba.
Oh, great Gamba, highest executioner, supreme devil, god of evil, make your decision. Death is a plaything when you are caught in the devil's hands. And the devil's plaything is devastating.
You'll never escape me, darling.
Is he really her willing victim? Or a person possessed? Spin the wheel. That knife is set to kill.
Nighttide, with its boundless power, ties these two together in a love tainted by strange, sinister terror. The siren song of the sea, pulsating like a bongo beat, calling, driving the sea people.
You saw how she looked at me, how she spoke to me. She's one of them. She's one of the sea people, and Johnny, I'm so afraid.
You're a stranger here, and I guess you don't know what everybody here knows.
Ellen, dear.
In the past 2 years, Maura's had 2 boyfriends, and they're both dead now.
Coming to this theater soon, The Beast of Yucca Flats. Filmed on the burning hot sands by Yucca Flats. See terror, panic, murder. See the Cardoza and Francis production of The Beast of Yucca Flats. See a man turn killer. See a woman ravaged. See one of the most exciting movies ever made. See The Beast of Yucca Flats. A killer on the loose. Death sweeps across the desert. Panic. A bloodthirsty killer stalks a moonlit desert. See The Beast of Yucca Flats.
Statistics say that every year London has 40 nights of fog.
And who will they murder tonight, I wonder?
Every morning, the police discover a new victim.
Who's the dead man?
The crime wave continues, and Scotland Yard combs the harbor in search of the madman. Where is he? Who is he?
Calls itself that because they pull their crimes in the middle of the night.
Watch it, it's hot. Very hot.
Fear reigns. Danger lurks everywhere. And the police are powerless. Terror grips another victim. And another. And still another.
And upheaval in a strange world. As a comet runs wild among the planets of the universe.
This catastrophe, whatever it was, has thrown the Earth into a new orbit.
No, this whole thing is unbelievable.
Challenged by furious forces of nature that defy explanation. A forgotten world of dark jungles, barren deserts, Stone Age mountains, and the Valley of the Dragons, alive with primordial animals. The menace of cavemen, gorilla people, underground demons.
What kind of a nightmare world is this?
A world of the past. 100,000 years past.
The Valley of the Dragons, where beast attacks beast, man fights man, and both battle each other. Prehistoric monsters out of the past bring new thrills in the Valley of the Dragons.
Foreboding place of no return. Hercules in the haunted world.
an unearthly world of eternal darkness. Ghostly kingdom of the undead demons of death.
From these horrifying, hideous creatures of evil, Hercules and his friend must save their doomed kingdom and the women they love.
Julia, Hercules wants something.
He always wants something.
But when I return, I'll never leave you again. This I promise you.
Hercules and Theseus battle treacherous, monstrous forces of evil in the forbidden depths of the haunted underworld.
Of stone you are made, and by stone you shall be destroyed!
I will serve you as your slave as long as you live. Save me, I beg
Stop!
you.
It's a trap! Don't trust the shadows of Hades!
Nefarious, fiendish Lyco, mastermind of terror, must be destroyed. Reg.
I shall take your shape, and in your likeness I will destroy my enemies.
Death and destruction their weapons. Pillaging and plundering. Taking captive both unsullied virgins and alluring concubines.
I will free Julia and all of the others, and those responsible will pay for their crimes.
Into waters abounding with vicious killers of the deep goes Goliath. To reach the sea-protected city of the vampires. Here, men die by the cruelest of executions. A beautiful woman is the devil's own temptress, exploiting the young and innocent. Then justice threatens her with the most horrifying of deaths.
Please, Goliath, save me. You can do it. Help!
In the name of the Sultan, I declare you under arrest. Don't resist us.
But even the might of Goliath is not always enough to match the black magic powers of Cobra.
Hercules and the captive women. Here at last, an extraordinary adventure. Fascinating, compelling, thrilling. The ultimate in screen entertainment. Hercules and the captive women.
Kill me, I beg you.
With a new and dynamic personality. Reg Park as Hercules. Frightening with barbaric rituals. Terrifying with murder and intrigue. Hercules, with all the power of his legendary strength, stands alone against these mysterious beings of superhuman power. Hercules and the captive women, caught in the grip of a beautiful and passionate woman whose secret sadistic love rituals gave him...
If you will join me in the conquest of the world, all mankind will recognize me as their queen and adore you as the one and only God. Love me, Hercules, and together we shall reign over men and gods.
Hercules and the captive women, starring Reg Park and Faith Fame. Don't miss this all-new, outstanding motion picture adventure. Massive in scope, in thrilling action, magnificent in Technicolor and Technorama. Hercules and the captive
for survival when an enemy world hurtles toward a doomed Earth in Battle of the Worlds. Our spaceships are decimated when the invading planet's insurmountable pull of gravity begins a shattering cosmic destruction. Only one scientific mind can stop the stellar holocaust.
Your days are numbered.
I prefer that you speak before the United Commission.
He alone knows there are only 80 days to live, and he must convince the world of this threatening catastrophe. Can he find the formula that will save the Earth? Feel the torment of desperate passions as men and women live the last panic-filled hours of love in history's final chapter. Heroic astronauts brave the cold and lifeless void of space as they prepare for battle when the enemy's super electronic brain launches a surprise attack of its awesome flying saucers.
They're overtaking us.
We must maneuver freely. But to win, they must land on the foreboding crust of the hostile planet and destroy forever the soulless power of its monstrous hidden brain. Starring Claude Rains in his most challenging role.
Watch out, Eve!
A prophetic motion picture, 5 years in the making. You must see Of the World.